engineers. Thank you so much for checking out the Home Recording Network. Welcome back to day 4 of this series, 30 Days to a Better Home Studio Mix. Today we're going to talk about gain staging. And this is a pretty hot topic in the audio world. Some people think it's super important. Some people think it's not. So I'm going to tell you what I think. So what do I think of gain staging? Well, in the words of the great Andrew Scheps, I do not gain stage. And I'm going to tell you more of my thoughts on gain staging, why some people might think it's important, why I don't think it's that important. So to do that, let's just hop into the mix and we will take a look. Now, while I don't think gain staging is as big of a deal as people say, there are some things I look out for in terms of gain and overall volume. So again, this is the mix that we are going to be looking at over the next 30 days. And I promise you, in the next few days, we'll get into some of the actual mix techniques that were used during this mix. But just in case you missed it, here is the song we're using for an example.
These kings and queens, they all fall, headless back into destined unaware, just what will be done.
Great mix. No gain staging needed. Imagine that. No, I'm kidding. So let's get into some of my thoughts on this idea of gain staging. But first, if you like this video or it helps you out, please make sure to like and subscribe so that I can reach more home studio engineers and help more people out. All right, now back to gain staging. So now that we're recording digitally, gain staging isn't as big of a deal. If you're mixing on a console or something like that, of course you don't want to overload the console or anything like that. Or maybe you do. Maybe you do want some distortion. And then on the other side of things, maybe in the old days when you're recording to tape, it was super important to get a very loud signal to cover up the hiss from the tape machine. But we don't really have any of that anymore nowadays. I mean, we're recording to our computers. All these audio files are just ones and zeros. So if we open up some of these tracks and we look at them to kind of see the volume, I guess you would say, if you look at all of them, they're all just kind of not too loud, yet not too quiet, right? We don't want a bunch of skinny waveforms, and we don't want them to be clipping either. I generally shoot from somewhere between -18 to -10 dB. And the reason for that is you don't want anything super quiet because you want a good signal to noise ratio. So there is some sort of noise when you're recording through a microphone. You might be able to hear some like white noise in the background. If you turn the volume up really loud, you might be able to hear that. So we sort of want to cover that up. But at the same time, we just don't want our tracks super loud or clipping. We want some headroom to play with in our tracks. But at the same time, if I get a very quiet track from a client, it's usually fine. I can usually just bump the gain up a little bit to get it louder. The one thing that you don't want, though, is clipping for sure. If the track is clipping and you can hear some audible distortion, that's obviously going to affect the mix. People also say that you should be leaving all your faders at unity gain or as close to unity gain as possible. Look at mine. They're all over the place. So no, you're not losing any quality to your audio signal if you're turning down the fader. It really means nothing. One thing I do look out for while I'm mixing is how hard I'm hitting my master bus or my print bus. So if I am hitting those plugins on the bus too hard, I'll just turn all the tracks down. That's really all it comes down to. So I'll mute the output and just play the song and show you. So the song's playing and I'm hitting the virtual mix bus here, and it's even going into the red a little bit here, but it sounds awesome. So I'm not really concerned about that. But if I am hitting some of the plugins on this bus too heavily, what I'll do is I'll just turn down all the tracks. It's not that big of a deal. So I really don't want to spend a ton of time on this. That's how unimportant I really think it is. And all I have to say is just make sure you're getting a moderate signal while you're recording. Like I said, I shoot for between -18 to -10 dB. But if it goes above or below that a little bit, I don't really care. If I hear any distortion or anything like that, it's a problem. If I don't, I'm not really concerned about it at all. So that's it for day 4. If you come back for day 5, we're going to talk a little bit about what I've learned about the listening environment over the past 15 years. And I've been in a lot of different setups, bedrooms, basements, and I've learned a lot about the place where you mix and how important it is and what you can do to make that better, because your listening environment is really everything. So we will talk about that tomorrow, and I hope to see you back. Happy mixing, guys. Hey guys, if you like this video, be sure to download your free Ultimate Home Studio Mix Guide with your go-to EQ and compression settings for all your tracks. And also be sure to register for my free online mix training that I hold a couple times a week so that you can learn how to make radio quality music from your home without breaking the bank.